Hello everyone, it's Small Farmer 6710 and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to day 39 and the big 132 Model Farm Diorama display. It is a very wet one today, guys, but still there's a lot happening, especially over at the new farm that's being built. There's a lot of progress since last episode and also a few changes on Robert's tractors. Without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off here, PJ's yard. He's kind of taking it a bit easy today, but there's a bit of progress on the house, so we'll get to that there in a minute. He's just tidying up the yard at the moment. As you see, he has a few of the Massies out, and one being the Massey 590. He's just taking it out of the shed. He's just going to bring it for a run. He doesn't really like leaving the machines sitting up all year round, or during the winter anyway, and just make sure the battery isn't flattened. And as you may know, a machine sitting up doesn't no good. So. And then he has the 690 here as well. The son is just reversing the bread or lime spreader into the back of the shed there. As you can see there, he has the grain trailer and also the Massey Feilds and the corn drill as well. And the combine as well is obviously parked away in the corner of the shed there as well. So yeah, everything's been nicely tucked away for the winter. And then the 1200 is sitting in the grain store. That'll be probably sitting there for most of the winter. And then the JTB teleporter is on standby there in the middle of the yard, which will be used frequently enough throughout the week, and it'll definitely be used a lot more now because they're going to be working on the roof of the house here. So they have some beams that they have from the other yard, PJ's yard over the mountain that has the forest. So he got a few beams that he had from spare from when he built a few of the other sheds at the other yard. So he has a few spare beams there, and he's going to use them for his cross sections, and it'll save him a few pounds. So yeah, the roof should be on next episode, and then they'll get the roofers in, start tiling the roof, or the slates, putting the slates on the roof. So that'll be interesting. And as you see, we have a lovely Fiat 140/90 on a double axle red rock low loader, and on the back is a Valtra 6850, which he's after buying from an auction there, and he's bringing it home. He's going to do a bit of a project throughout the winter. He's going to try to get it running, so he got it for cheap enough, and he hopes to get it running for the winter time, and it'll be a bit of a cheap tractor as a backup tractor, and he sometimes needs a second tractor for just running an extra trailer or whatever. So wish him the best of luck with the Valtra anyway, and we'll hope to see it on the road in the future. Moving down the road, we have a local farmer in his Ford 6600 off to the mart today. He does usually have a nice New Holland, a nice TS100 New Holland on the cattle box or for jobs like this, but it actually wouldn't start today. We have a problem there with the starter, so he doesn't know what to do now, but luckily the 6600 is always reliable, and that started for him anyway, and it's on the cattle box, so hopefully it'll make it back. But no, don't hear that every day. And here, as you know, the car that crashed through the wall, it's been going on for the past few episodes. So Finbar, had to get someone to build up as well. So he got a local man there that he always talks to in the pub, and he talks now and again, and he knows that he does a bit of stone wall or masonry. So they just said they go at it there together, and there are most of the day at this, building the wall up, and have a few spare rocks there left over. But yeah, no, Finbar there is just negotiating about paying them there, so the man is going to be happy enough about it. And they both kind of have a good few things in common. They're both wearing hats, and they both have David Browns, so a nice genuine, I think, if not might be a bit restored 996 David Brown. And you know, you have the link box on the back, quite handy for him. And then, as you know, Finbar has the 1490 as well, so nice to see that. gushy things happening there in the Finbarrows farm, and nice to see that the wall is built up again. And here we have a nice Fed 820. He's just coming back from the dealership, and he's after dropping a trailer to get the brakes done on it and the leaf springs done. So he's just coming back there. And moving on into James and Michael's contracting yard. There's not too much going on except to have the John Deere 7430 out on a bit of a job at the moment out at Agri-Co's, or the new farm that's being built. So that's out at the moment with the Amazon fertilizer spreader. And got the T7 260 in the shed at the moment, just giving a bit of a tidy up inside and out. And same with the 7810. Ultra and the hedge cutters here. The Farmer's Journal want to do a bit of an interview with the man that owns this hedge cutter and what's the views and opinions on it. So they just said they'd use James and Michael's yard here for a bit of a photo shoot. It's not a bad place for one, and they're just demonstrating here how high the hedge cutter can reach, which is, I'd say, nearly a 3-story building, if not definitely a 2-story building anyway. And it's quite impressive for a cool hedge cutter, and you don't see many of them about. Yeah, so you might see more of them about country in the future. Going by the road here, that's just not something you see every day. A nice Sammy Galaxy 170 with a stone cart on the back doing a bit of drainage. A bit of a drainage contractor, and he's just moving to the next job. Moving across the road here, we have one of the big tillage farmers with their Fendt 936 and a Challenger trial sprayer. He's just, after coming into the field here now, he's unfolded out. I'm sure he should be out of this field in half an hour, I'd say. It does go on down that direction a bit, but for a 30-acre field, he'll be out of it in no time with the big sprayer, the big booms on it. So a bit of an Agco setup, Fendt and Challenger. Going by on the road, we have a bit of a beef farmer here with his dates, and he's just bringing back a few bales from his out farm that he has. A few bales out there, he's just bringing the rest of them back. So that's about it here on this side of the farm. Let's see what's going on elsewhere.
Kicking it off over here in the AD plant, we have a lot of progress since last week. A ferocious amount. And the reason why is we have the JCB 416 on the scoop as well as the Kramer teleporter. The two boys have been going all week flat out, and they've even been drawn over to another AD plant. So that's that. But once they're done this little pile here, they won't be touching the second coat for another few weeks. So they're getting all this out the gap, and they'll soon be done, I suppose. Over here we have the local farmer with his nice case and Stratman and a convertible mower and Massey 2620. He had a bit of a kind of zero grazing setup. He didn't want to buy one of the zero grazing wagons, so he just said he'd park the tractor and mower in the field for a while, but the ground has gone too wet now. He has to move on, and hopefully the ground will dry up maybe just after the new year. Nice little car going down, and here we have a lovely Ford 8210 bumming up the road after getting fully refurbished, and he fitted a front linkage onto it recently and 4 new tyres all around. So very nice tractor. He just has to fit the front lights and it'll be 100% done. He's just drawn a bit of muck. And then moving in to Robert's Dairy Farm. So there's a lot of action in Robert's Farm here today. As you can see, there's lots of change with the John Deere 6930. They're just putting a bit of air into the tyres on the low loader as he's moving a few diggers from the site back to their homes. But as you may see in the 6930, there's a lovely new front linkage after being added on. Robert was saying this is a very good add-on, as he can take off on and off the weight whenever he wants, and it's just handy that way that he won't be wearing his tires all the time if he doesn't need to, you know. So it's handy that way, and potentially if he gets a front and back mower system, he'll be able to run it then, as the 6930 has the power. Moving on to a Massey 6290. Ryan's in this and he's drawn over to the site. There's probably about 3 or 4 dump trailer loads to get rid of down the fields there after they've done the dirt track, so they're moving it over to the site. Ford 8210, some sad news as the dual power is giving a bit of trouble. Robert's just hoping that they don't have to lift the cab on it and get into it and try fix it, so hopefully everything will be okay, but for the most part everything's grand. Milking is being finished here. I think there's 2 more batches just to be let out, and that'll be fairly good. And here we have 8560 after just feeding there this morning. It's after getting on well. And we just have the young lad scraping the slats as the cows come out. So that's it for around Robert's farm. Just passing by here, we have a farmer that he wouldn't be local now, but he's after buying a new grubber from the local dealer and he's heading back home. He's about half an hour, 40-minute drive ahead of him. Moving in to the construction site. There's a lot of action in the construction site this week, and just kicking it off, we have Robert's going to be coming up here soon just to shift off these 2 diggers, the JCB and the Hitachi, back to their homes. They're rented out for a while and they got a lot done. The contractor's digger is just about done. It'll be probably staying here now because they're hoping to get at sheds next weekend, so all going well, they should be laying foundations for sheds, and Ford will be staying around with the sweeper. And here we have Robert's brother just coming in with the 7499 and the green dumper. They're drawing away sand, as we have the blue power TM190 and the cane trailer. The builders are taking home the sand for other sites, so that'll be a good usage of clearing. And in here there was some amount of work, some amount of loads put in here. There would have been about, so there was 8-wheeler lorries in, there was some amount of tractors and trailers on the draw. It was just exceptional now. Hopefully all going well, but we just have Robert's digger here leveling off, just taking the bits of hard stones and a lot of stones, as you can see, since it was a former quarry. And then we have one of the lads in the TM just rolling it in, and then after, the 30 will be coming in and just spreading a bit of grass seed over. So the progress has been fairly milled through here. Let's see what happens next week.
So that wraps up day 39 on the Big Country 2 Small Farm Diorama display. It's very action packed, especially for winter time, and especially up at the new farm that's being built. I'm very excited to see in the next couple of weeks when the sheds are all built, and when, most importantly, when the farmer is moved in. And also it is a nice addition to have the front linkage on Robert's 6930 John Deere. Hopefully next week will be as exciting as this episode, and we hope to see you again in the next episode. Bye for now.